Hi, this short video will discuss the explanation for why a trench is formed. Okay, so a trench is a very deep part of the ocean. So I have here Google Earth, and if we search for example, Philippine Philippine trench, here, that's the correct spelling. Um, you can see here from the Google map, from the Google Earth application, that there is this very deep part of the ocean. See, there's like a deep part of the ocean, and it kind of is parallel along the islands of the Philippines. So that's a trench, right? So a deep part of the ocean. So how would a trench be formed? A trench happens when we have convergence of two plates. Okay, so we have plate number one, and let's say this is plate number two, and maybe plate number one is a continental plate, and this is an oceanic plate. So what happens is oceanic plates are more dense than continental plates. So therefore, when they converge like this is the heavier plate, it's more dense, so therefore it would go under the other plate, but as it goes under, it will drag the edge of the continental shelf here. So this would be something like this, wherein this edge here will be kind of deformed, right? It kind of also tries to go under just because of the sheer pressure or the sheer tension of the plate going downwards. And if this is the level of the ocean, because remember this is the continent, so now you can see this is the normal depth of the ocean, and then you have a deep part of the ocean just because of this plate going under the other plate. So kind of like this, where this is this plate, the continental plate, and this is the oceanic plate. This oceanic plate goes under, but it doesn't go under like this. It goes under, but dragging the edge of the continental plate. So what happens is it will be like this, and there will be a deeper part of the ocean, right? There's a deeper part of the ocean, and that is a trench, right? And that also happens even when you have two oceanic plates. So if you have two oceanic plates, so maybe this is oceanic plate number one, and this is oceanic plate number two, and therefore, again, both of them are underwater. So this is the water part. So one of them will always be older than the other, right? So if, let's say, plate number one is older than plate number two, then because it's older, it is more dense, right? Because it has more time to cool off. It has been under the pressure of the water for more time than the other one, so it is compressed, so it's more dense. So it goes under like this, under the second plate, but again, not before dragging the edge of this second plate with it a little bit. And because of that dragging part, again, you form this part of the ocean where it's unusually deeper than the other parts of the ocean. Okay, so that's a trench. So going back to our Google Earth, here I have a map, and you can see here this is Nazca Plate, and Nazca Plate is oceanic. It's in the ocean. While the South American plate, well, at least this part of the boundary, is continental. So this continental plate and that is oceanic plate, and they are converging. So again, this is the South American plate is continental. The Nazca plate is oceanic, so the Nazca plate goes under. Again, it drags the edge of the continental shelf, forming the trench. If we search in Google Earth, Nazca, right? And it zooms in near the near the South American continent. What do you notice? You have this very deep part. That's the trench. So it's the part of the continental plate that's being dragged downwards as the oceanic plate goes under the continental plate. So there's some dragging part, so there's a deep part of the ocean there. If we also look at the Philippine Trench, this is a wrong spelling, but it gives you the correct location. So Philippine Trench. Um, this is an example of two oceanic plates. Okay, because this Philippine Sea plate here is an oceanic plate, as you can see, and this part of Eurasia. Imagine if the Philippines were not here, this would have been ocean. This would have been an ocean. So those are two oceanic plates. Then the Philippine plate kind of went under, forming a trench, and then as a consequence, if you watch the videos on volcanoes and volcanic islands, as a consequence, as this goes under, it forms volcanoes on the other side, underwater volcanoes that eventually became islands, which made up not majority, but a part of the Philippines. Not all the islands of the Philippines are formed like that, but part of the Philippines is formed because of that convergence. But again, right now it's ambiguous because it's now land. So is it truly oceanic versus oceanic, sir, when this is land already? But it used to be oceanic versus oceanic convergence here. Okay, forming a trench. So that's how a trench happens. One edge goes under the other, and inevitably it drags the edge of the second plate under, causing a depression in the seafloor. Whether this is a continental plate or another oceanic plate, there will be a depression, and that depression is called a trench.